Hey, guys! It's the Eccentric Cast again. We're bugging you again, by the way.
Hi, I'm Skinny.
Spanks.
Mesmer.
I can't say his name as good as he can.
Mesmer.
He mesmerizes me.
Oh.
All right, we're just gonna do a story time, and I think you know how story time goes. I think you guys.
If not, you could just. I think the first episode we described it.
Yeah. So if
And that was titled. What was that titled?
the towel one?
No,
No, it wasn't the towel one.
Trips,
Yeah, it was tricks, and towels.
Tricks, trips, and towels.
Yeah. No, it's a good story. So
Yeah.
I think I'll just jump right into it. All right.
Jump right into it, huh?
Yeah. So, all right. This all starts at a high school in the middle of the night, and this janitor works, but he's not like any other. His name's Gerald. All right. Just call him Gerald the janitor. Spelled with a J. Okay, Gerald the janitor with the J. Okay, but he's this old man. He's probably like 80 something, and he's super old. But he's not like any other janitor because he's actually a secret agent. All right, a secret agent that's probably past his lifetime. But, anyways, this is his life story, and he's just doing his business, cleaning up, the high school poop in the trash cans and stuff. I don't know why they poop in the trash cans, but they do. All right. I mean, I did in high school. Who didn't? No, I'm kidding.
I did.
Oh, sure. No, I'm all right. But that's what he's doing. He's just wiping down the trash cans. I don't know why he's wiping down the trash cans. But then he gets a call. Probably, yeah. Then he gets a call from his main... What? Stop it. He gets a call from his secret agent phone that he's got in his... But he doesn't have time to switch, get all of his gear. So and the guy on the line's like, "Hey, Gerald, you have to come quick. We need you for a secret mission." And the secret mission is
Going to a nursery home. And while he's at the nursery home, he's there to find a cyborg baby. And the cyborg baby is there to find an alien baby to kill. And that alien baby has to be used for special stuff. For dissecting and stuff. Since it's an alien.
okay.
So he's in there looking for the cyborg baby, and then he looks through a window, and then he sees
Another old man. But this old man looks different. He's got blue skin, green hair. He has no idea who the hell this guy is, but he decides to abandon his mission to go after this guy. So he just busts right through the window to attack this guy because he looks different, so he wants to kill him. Because he doesn't think he belongs here on Earth, obviously, because of the other two babies. But they're fighting each other anyway, and they both killed each other. So, he's going after this guy that has blue skin and green hair. The blue skin, green haired guy says, "Finally found you, boy. I'm gonna kill you now, boy. I got my blade, and I'm gonna cut you and slice you and dice you up, boy. Nothing you can do about it. You think you can escape space? You can't." Knowing that the, Gerald, I found you. You can't escape space, and you can't escape me, boy. And then Gerald looks at him and says, "Well, thought I escaped you when I left you back on that planet PX-92. But I guess I didn't. I was on the run. Thought I could escape you. But I didn't because I left you stranded there on purpose. Didn't think you'd get out of that one." Then the blue-skinned man says, "Well, I guess you're not as crafty as me, boy. Obviously, because I found you and you left a trail of stardust, and I tracked you all the way back to this place with your tracking beacon, and I had to use scraps to rebuild my ship. And I rebuilt it out of material that's unknown to where I come from in space, even though it's not even Earth, but it's somewhere else, so it's even more technologically advanced. So you're the idiot that left me on a planet that had a lot of resources, boy. Then Gerald just starts to laugh. You still think you've won, Patricia, but you haven't. So the blue-skinned man, who is now named Patricia, well, I haven't heard that name in years, boy. But this is enough talking. I think we should get to the killing. So then Gerald whips out a gun. That doesn't look like a normal gun because, well, he is also from outer space, not of Earth. So that explains why he can still look 80 years old and be this, like, secret agent. So he whips out what looks like a ray gun to shoot Patricia in the face. But it just bounces right off. Then Patricia starts to laugh. Ha! Boy, like I said, like I told you before, you left me stranded on a planet with all these resources, you idiot. And I was able to find all different types of technology. One being this face shield that I got that's invisible, boy. And also I found this translator so you can hear me speaking English right now for this story time. So, then there's a crack in the sky, and it's all red, the red bright light. And then out of the crack in the sky is an object that both Patricia and Gerald have no idea what it is. But it's found out to be
A statue of an octopus. And it has to be a statue of an octopus. And as they're staring up at this octopus, they're like, the Patricia's like, "What is this, boy? I don't know what this is." And the old man's like, Gerald is like, what do you think? Neither do I. Maybe we should team up and try to find out what it is. So instead of, saying, "Oh, hey, look, it's a statue," they start shooting at it with their ray guns like it's going to do something with it. So it shatters and the octopus becomes live and starts flailing his octopus legs around and grabs Patricia in the leg and starts pulling him through the starts pulling him through the crack in whatever it's, I don't know if it's a space crack or, yeah, we'll call it a space crack because that sounds hilarious, but it's a space crack. It doesn't have poop, by the way, but it makes you a hyper. No, I'm kidding. As Patricia's being pulled through this space crack, Gerald's like, "No, my oldest friend that I don't really like at all, but I will save you anyways." So he jumps and grabs Patricia's arm. He's like, "What are you doing, boy? I don't want you coming in here." And they both get pulled through this space crack. And then
they go into the space crack, and there goes a whole nother dimension. Then everywhere that they see is all 2D. So everywhere is flat. They even they turn sideways, and then they're pretty much, you see them as paper, so they're really thin. And while they're in the dimension, they figure out that they're in a whole different world, and then it's all flat and not spherical. And whenever they figure that out, they end up
all in a panic because they're used to moving around a certain way, but they can't move that way because they're no longer three-dimensional. But then Patricia pulls this device out of his jacket pocket and uses it to change the 2 dimensions back to 3 dimensions. So that way it's not as complicated. So, because he can has a device that's capable of trans-dimensional travel. So then, after becoming 3-dimensional, once they get to this new dimension, everything is a world gone topsy-turvy. It's all upside down. They're standing what seems to be the sky, and above them is the whole city and everything. So then they start to panic because they feel like they're going to fall, but they don't. They're still standing still on the sky, which doesn't really make sense, but it's another dimension, so anything can happen in another dimension, right? So Patricia tells Gerald that should we even continue our squabble, boy? Or should we try to figure out a way out of here first? So, Gerald says, I suppose we could temporarily set our differences aside and what you did to me in the past. Just to try to get out through these dimensions and either back to our home planet or back to Earth. So Patricia was like, okay, that's a truce then, boy. With his fingers crossed behind his back. And then they shake hands. So, then Patricia has the device that has capabilities of transdimensional travel, activates it again, and then they are in a new dimension. But this dimension
has nothing but flamingos in it. And they don't know why or how they ended up here, because he's like, Patricia's like, well, maybe it's broken. Maybe that octopus did something to it, because I don't know what's going on with my trans-dimensional device, boy. And Gerald's like, well, isn't it, did you make it or did you get it from somebody? Actually, I have no idea where I got it. I just have it. And so Gerald's like, well, that doesn't make any sense, but okay, I'll just roll with it, all right? But maybe we should actually just try to find this octopus guy, because maybe he'll help us. And he's like, well, how do you know it even talks? It could just do sign language with its tentacles or something. I don't know. I can't understand octopus talk. But maybe we should see what these flamingos have to say. And they go up to these flamingos, and they don't really say much. All they do is a dance number that makes him seem like weird dancing flamingo creatures that they don't even know what's going on. They're just like, oh, these flamingos dance. I don't know how we're gonna get through these dancing flamingos, or how we even gonna communicate with these dancing flamingos. And so Gerald's like, well, maybe you should just try the device again. He's like, well, how do you know we're not gonna end up dead or something? And he's like, you know what? Would that actually really matter if you ended up dead, because I don't like you anyways? And Patricia's like, well, that's not right, boy. I thought we did a truce. But okay, whatever, fine. I'll just use it. And they use it, and they end up in the exact same place they were at, the flamingos. And then their flamingos are like, you have to stay here. And then the Patricia's like, well, now you guys talk. I thought you just danced. Maybe we should dance too. And then he starts dancing, and Gerald's like, really, Patricia? Why do you got to do this? You're embarrassing me like you embarrassed me in my past. That's why I hate you. You embarrassed me at that school recital when we were 5. And Patricia's like, I can't believe you still hold that over my head. And so they were trying to communicate with the flamingos, and the flamingos say,
well, we tried to trap you guys here, but it seems like it's actually working because we have the same device that you do. It's funny how just because that you're in a dimension that's kind of close to ours, we have kind of the same technology, so we can counteract your trans-dimensional device. And Patricia says, well, boy, if it's a fight you're looking for, it's a fight you're gonna get, boy. So the flamingos then say, well, if you must fight us, then that is okay. We are mostly a peaceful race. But if you want to fight, then it's a fight you'll get. And then the ground starts to shake all around them, as if there's a small earthquake going on where they're at. And then up from the ground underneath the flamingo rises a a bigger body. That flamingo is just like the tip of this creature's head of this race that lives there. They were all actually, they morph into the ground for warmth. So this 15-foot tall creature has come out of the ground now, and then the flamingo person says, "All right, I'm ready to fight now. Are you?" Patricia says, "Well, you're damn right, boy. Just 'cause you grew 15 feet don't make a damn difference, boy. I still take you on." And then Patricia shoots him with the ray gun, at which point the flamingo creature dies instantly. The others scurry away in a mad panic. So then Patricia is able to grab the other trans-dimensional device. But upon grabbing it, Gerald grabs it instead, saying, I'm not going to be pulled into another dimension with you again, Patricia, because I can't stand you anymore. Plus, I don't even trust you. Patricia says, "You damn right you don't trust me, boy, because this whole time I've been thinking of a way to get you." And then when we shook hands, I crossed my fingers behind my back, and then he shoots Gerald in the face. Then Gerald collapses and is dead. And then Patricia uses the transdimensional device to transport himself back to his home planet. But unfortunately, he didn't realize that before Gerald died, he had switched the transdimensional devices, and Gerald had set Patricia's device that he grabbed, that he knew he was going to grab, to a specific coordinates to trap him. And then, once Patricia ends up in the other dimension,
Gerald's there automatically. He's sitting there. Patricia's in a cage. It's barbed wire cage. It's just barbed wire. Nothing special about it. Just barbed wire, like electrical fence type thing. And Patricia asks, "Well, where are we, boy?" And Gerald's like, "In my hometown of Kansas, and you are in a pig cage. Okay, this is the best way that I know to trap people." And he's like, "A pig cage? This isn't gonna stop me." And he kicks it, and he just stumbles over, and he's like, "What is this made of?" And he's like, "The same stuff you made your ship out of. I have no idea what it is, but I made it out of that stuff." And he's like, "Darn, boy, how'd you even get that?" He's like, "Little did you know, I stole some resources before I left you on that planet, okay?" And Patricia's like, "Well, you're smarter than I thought you were, but it's okay, I still embarrass you like no one else has." And he's like, "Yes, you have, but I have a way to embarrass you." And Patricia's like, "Oh yes, how is that, boy? You can't embarrass me, I am embarrassment." "You can't embarrass the embarrassment. I live for embarrassment. I ease embarrassment." And Gerald's like, "Well, I think I have the perfect solution to embarrass you, and it is
to strip you down till you have nothing on, and then bring out the big reveal." And then Patricia says, "Oh yeah, boy, what is that, boy?" Gerald then turns on some lights that go off in a sort of like beat fashion, accompanied by music. And then then four walls drop. They looked like the surroundings were bigger than he thought, but they were actually just four walls to make it look like it was he was in a big area. But it was actually a box that they were both in, but it drops and unfolds into a bigger room. And then they're inside a building. The same building where they had the dance recital that Gerald got made fun of at, from whence Patricia had embarrassed him, and when he pulled his pants down in front of everyone, revealing his weird-shaped alien penis, because they found out he wasn't from that area, or let alone that planet. So then Gerald says, I guess I got you back for this one, didn't I, Patricia? You tried to kill me? You embarrassed me, then you tried to kill me after trying to chase me down all these years, and it looks like I have the last laugh. And then Patricia says, yeah, right, boy. I'm going to have the last laugh because I'm going to find my way out of here. And then Gerald was like, doubt it. And then Gerald called Patricia's bluff and covered every single possibility he would have thought that Patricia would have thought to try to get out of it, but he could not. Then Patricia eventually said, all right, boy, I guess you win. You have covered all my tracks. It's like you've got entered my mind and figure out every possible solution I would try to get out of this. Then Gerald says, of course I did. Because I had something implanted in your head that lets me read your thoughts. And I had read your thoughts up until this point. And even further if you keep thinking. So Patricia's like, well, I guess I have to stop thinking then, boy, so you can't read my thoughts. And Gerald says, well, how do you propose you do that? And then Patricia says, by doing this. Pulls out his ray gun and shoots himself in the head, saving himself from further thoughts of being read by Gerald and further embarrassment.
And Gerald's just flabbergasted about what just happened, and he's like, I didn't cover that track. I have no idea what just happened. And he realized that he didn't get the last experiment, because as he's sitting there staring at this huge crowd that he was trying to embarrass Patricia with, he realizes he's just standing there with some alien guts on his head of Patricia's brains. And he realizes, well, now this is kind of embarrassment because now I've got this green goop on my head and these guys do know I'm an alien. And he looks down and he realizes his pants are down. And he's like, how did Patricia do this? He's not even alive, and he's embarrassing me even further. And he realizes the words that riddled through his head of Patricia saying, I is embarrassment, boy. I is embarrassment. You can't stop me even when I'm dead. And Gerald's like, I have no idea how this is happening, but I will try to further my way out of this somehow. He's hightailing it out of there with his pants he's trying to squeeze back on his pants, like hip-hopping out of there with green goop running down his face. And he trips and falls, and everybody's laughing at him like, ha ha ha. And you just hear Patricia's voice, I is embarrassment, boy. I is. You can't stop me. And then
Gerald runs out of there crying, and because he gets flashbacks of when they were kids again, when he got embarrassed before, and he realizes, I just don't think I'm ever going to be Patricia. And of course he has every right to try to track me down and kill me, because I tried to kill him for pulling my pants down. I realized that was an overreaction. I shouldn't have done it. But it's amazing how one character seems like the villain and the other seems like the hero, or the antagonist or the protagonist. But sometimes things get flipped once you hear the whole truth. But Gerald realizes, I think I'm just going to have to move to another universe and restart my life again as an 80-year-old janitor who was a secret agent because of my abilities. If I can get in that line of work, maybe I'll only be able to be a janitor, but as long as I'm not embarrassed again, I should be fine. Then he starts to hear a beeping noise. And he's wondering, where the hell is that coming from? And then he starts to feel a vibration in his ass. And he's like, oh no. I guess Patricia did get the last. And then Gerald explodes into a billion pieces of flesh, bone, and matter that just after it explodes then gets vaporized. Realizing that Patricia had got the last laugh indeed, as Patricia's laugh echoes in the distance from another universe. I is embarrassment, boy. The end.
All right. I think we're done with that story time. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know. What do you guys think? Just comment if you think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Or if you have an idea for another story time, just leave I don't know, a couple sentences to a paragraph, and we can play off of it.
Yeah.
Or something, and we'll make something out of it.
Yeah. Something as hilarious as Gerald and Patricia's.
Or even any other ideas you guys think might be cool. I know we have tons of ideas, but I don't know. We like to hear from.
We like to hear out from fans and stuff.
Yeah, so that way we can improve ourselves, or also tailor to what you guys want to hear.
Yeah. So I will catch you next podcast.
And for story time, this is Mesmer
And Spanx.
and Skinny.
And Skinny.